Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to be showing you how I make friendship books. Now obviously your style is your own and so is mine, so you don't really have to play by the rules here. I have seen plenty of friendship books that are simply just pieces of pretty paper stapled together, and sometimes even just notebooks stapled together. In fact, I have made them with just newspapers before and they're not very pretty. But sometimes I like to make some that are moderately pretty but not completely overboard, because that can get a little bit expensive. So yeah, this is a very simple video. I consider these friendship books to be relatively resource friendly. So without further ado, here are the materials you need. Pair of scissors, pen, any color, this is pink, packing tape, double-sided tape, address labels from label bags or just ones that you have made for your friends, a paper cutter, a stapler, some cute little arts from the internet. I just printed these out with the settings of 9 per page, so there were 3 more, but I cut them out. Address labels of your own, some cardstock, 2 pieces, one that you can cut into strips lengthwise, and one that you'll actually be making the book itself out of. Now it can be any size, you can cut it down to shape to whatever size you want. I did forget to mention that you will need some memo pad papers, probably 2. We will be cutting off parts of the top or the bottom, or both, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I picked these because they kind of match it. It's not springtime now, but a woman can dream. Okay, first off, with your cardstock, you want to think about what part of it is going to be your book. I would like this part folded in half so you get the flowers, and then actually, I think I want it like this. So then measure out about 4 inches wide. And then you can just put this aside for a future use. You'll have to excuse the weird sounds. My cat is trying to get in. And this chair is a little creaky. So, anyway, so about 4 inches wide, and then cut it off at about 6 inches tall. Here. Cut it off. So, you can actually make 2 at this, but this one has the perforation, so you probably have to cut it off. But I only want to make 1 for the purpose of this video. So here you go, 4 by 6. So then, this way, at 3 inches, since it's the middle, this particular paper cutter has a scorer, I believe that's what it's called. So we want to measure at 3 inches and score it in the middle, so it folds nice and evenly for us. So there you go, basic friendship book. Kind of. It's a little folded weird, but we can fix that. So put that aside. Then the paper that you can cut into strips, take it and cut it into about 1/2 inch strips, or however wide you feel like. I do it at about 1/2 inches, at least. I think that's how far it is from here to here. So that's how wide I'm going to be cutting it. Then just put this aside for a different use. With this, I will be putting it in the corners, like this and this. You'll see how I do that later. And the last thing you're going to need to cut with the paper cutter is this. Now I'm going to choose this one, so just simply cut it out with your paper cutter or a pair of scissors. I find that a paper cutter cuts a little bit more evenly, but the bad thing about this one is that it tends to leave fluff on the edges of the papers. I don't know if that means I gotta clean it out or what, but I'll show you in a minute here. Put these aside. These can be discarded or recycled. Okay, so here we go. If you can see it, I don't know if my camera will pick it up very well. At the edges of the paper there is like fluff. I call it paper fluff. There's probably an official word for it, but so then take your regular scissors here and just, you know, try to cut a little bit of that off without altering the shape. So there we go. Put that aside. And just throw away your scraps. Clean up your area. You're not going to need this, so go ahead and put it aside. Out of the way. So now we have all of these. Next you're going to take your memo pad here. Take 2 pages. 2 or more. Depends on how many pages you want in your friendship book, but you know, to save on postage and to be courteous, I do about 2. Make sure they're separated. You are going to fold these in half. Well, think about what parts you want in your friendship book. Like, I kind of want the rabbit to be in there, but not so much April, since it's not April. So what I'm going to do is lay the friendship book flat, center my memo pads in there, how I want them to be, okay, and then just fold it like that, just a little bit to get the basic idea. And go ahead and fold it. Push it back in there. Sorry, my cat's being a little annoying right now. And then cut it off. Now I see I have a little bit of the back flap showing back there, so I'm going to trim that too. You can use a paper cutter for this if you want to, but I just like to do it this way. Trim it up how you like it. I think that part doesn't bother me that much. But I want this to be the front. So, good. You can discard these or use them for address labels on pretty envelopes or whatever you want to do. I don't really have use for them right now, so I'm going to throw them away. And picture and think about which side you want to be your front. You know, make sure your memo pads are in there the right way. If you have a cute little image at the bottom, you don't want this to be upside down up here. So this is perfect. So center that a bit. Then with your stapler, go ahead and make sure you get all of the papers together and staple it one time right here on the crease. Side on the crease. book. You could just send it off like this if you wanted to after putting the address labels in, or you could keep watching this video and see what else I do. So there's your basic book right there. You know, make sure that's kind of flat. You're not going to need your stapler, so go ahead and put that aside. Now, using this double-sided tape is, you know, your decision. It's not necessary, but I find that I have a hard time placing things without it. So you're going to use very little bit of it here. I take a little chunk, and on my front, just place it down like that in the middle. Peel it off. You see this cute little image that you printed out or whatever? Go ahead and place it in the center. As close to centered as you can get. Okay, we're going to do more with this later, but it's just centered. And then this strip of paper here, go ahead and decide how you want to place that. I like to put them in corners, like right here and right here. So with the double-sided tape, to make sure these are anchored before I put down my last layer, I put a strip here and try to angle out the same up here. And take one off. I like to get as much as I can out of the strip, so I will align this corner with the bottom here as much as I can. Not messing it up. Okay, take your scissors and go ahead and cut that. At this point in the video, I'm not quite sure what happened to my sound. In the previous clip, my camera had fallen over. That might have something to do with it. But I cut off the ends that were hanging off the edge of the friendship book, and I'm peeling back the paper that's on the double-sided tape and putting on the strip. I'm aligning the part that I cut off with the side of the friendship book because it fits quite perfectly and makes sure the angle is the same as the other strip. So then just give it a cut. Alright, and there you go. You're not done with the cover quite yet, so, you know, you see all the edges that are kind of like that, not protected. We will be protecting them later in the video. You can add sequins, other embellishments, whatever, but that's nice and simple. And I like to use the double-sided tape for everything because it was cheap and whatnot. And on the inside cover, I will be placing the address labels, you know, both mine and a randomly selected label from my bag of labels. Cut off the excess. And you can use that strip for other friendship books or whatever. It lasts quite a while, surprisingly, and that's only one little strip. So here are my address labels, and here's me picking one out of the bag of awesome. I picked Samantha, one of my pen pals from SwapBot. She sent me a bunch of excess label bags, and I got a billion of her labels, so in the next 5 years, Samantha, if you're watching this, expect a ton of label bags and friendship books. So I'm just going to use a little bit of double-sided tape to put it on the back cover, or the back of the front cover, you know, just to hold it in place. because later I will be anchoring it down. And then since mine are peel and stick, I simply just peel it off and stick it right on there. Now with my pen, in all of my friendship books, at the top I usually write FB via LB, which is friendship book via label bag, for, and in this case it would be Samantha, and by, in this case it would be me. Well, in all cases, any ones that I make are by me, and they're usually almost always for someone else. And then I usually put the month and the year in it, because, you know, you never know, you probably won't see these for years, so it's always kind of cool to know when they started. Oh, and on the bottom of the back cover I write, "Full, please send home to Samantha." You know, so new people know where to send it to and they're not just hanging around when it's full. In a perfect world, anyway. And this is what I make my protective layer out of. It's just packing tape. It's very simple. You know, make sure you get a piece that's big enough that's going to wrap around the front to secure your address labels a little bit. I find that when I don't use double-sided tape, when I'm putting down the packing tape, the papers are just loose and they kind of static their way up to the tape, and there's usually lots of extra bubbles, or the papers are crooked, or whatever. So that reason right there is why I use the double-sided tape. My tape didn't quite make it to my labels, so I put another piece over them just to secure them. And my last piece of tape is going to go over the crease of the book because, you know, this book is going to be passed around who knows how many times, and it's going to suffer some wear and tear, so that's just to protect it. And after that, I'm pretty much done. So thank you guys for watching, and you know, stay tuned for more videos. And I promise, I can't promise, but I hope that my audio isn't messed up for the next video. So thanks for watching.